I have just seen this, that there is a UNESCO tsunami exercise for the northeastern Atlantic and Mediterranean on the 6th and 7th of November 2023. And on the 5th is World Tsunami Awareness Day. But they're actually having an exercise in the northeastern Atlantic and the Mediterranean on the 6th and the 7th of November. That's 7/11. 7/11 is the warning that Noah was given of the flood. So, as you can see, that UNESCO are preparing for tsunamis. And I've said in my videos that there's going to be a tsunami which will flood America. And I believe it's connected to La Palma. There's also I also believe that they are going to use an artificial meteor at some stage. And I've covered this in my videos. And on the flag of La Palma you have St. Michael. And you have the order St. Michael and St. George. St. Michael slays the dragon, the lower self, with a spear. We've had Shakespeare. And the two of the secret writers of Shakespeare were John Dee and Francis Bacon. And John Dee used Enochian magic and sex rituals, and John Dee believes he was in communication with St. Michael. And so St. Michael and St. George have immense importance to the Rosicrucians, who want to create this new age. And the first man to get it was called William Shakespeare. The Tsar, Nadim Zahawi, is a Freemason of Stratford-upon-Avon, Shakespeare country. You shake it before you spear it. The emergency alert was on the 23rd of April, St. George's Day. St. George died 23rd of April, 303 AD, 33 of Freemasonry. He slays the serpent. He slays the lower self to realize his higher self. And St. Michael is on the flag of La Palma. And America has become corrupted. And Francis Bacon, who's one of the secret writers of Shakespeare, wrote the book The New Atlantis. Enoch is connected to Atlantis. So we have this UNESCO tsunami exercise, and it shows you that they are practicing for this, because I believe this is a man-made event and they know it's going to come. And remember that on 9/11 they had an exercise, and 9/11 is also 7/11, and I believe 9/11 is a ritual for this next ritual, which will be a flooding of New York, a mega tsunami. And from this, when the tsunami happens, then China will invade Taiwan, as we seem to be going towards World War III. And remember that the earthquake swarm on La Palma happened on September 11th, and then the eruption on September the 19th. A year later, the Queen dies on the 8th of September, the Nativity of the Virgin. The Virgin is the patron saint of La Palma. The Virgin is actually Isis. And then the Queen is buried on the 19th, a year later after the eruption. And this is to do with the crown bug, the crown, which is the crown chakra, the crown of Freemasonry, the crown of Isis, of the arch, the royal arch of Freemasonry, which goes back to the Rose Cross and Shakespeare. Shakespeare was thought to be the first initiate of Royal Arch Freemasonry, the crown that holds the two arms, the dialectic and the synthesis, alchemy. This is an alchemical formula for the creation of a new age. And I believe it's to do with La Palma. So it's interesting that we have this tsunami awareness days, which they've been holding since I think 2016. And this year's one is on the 5th of November, but there is an exercise in the Atlantic from the 6th and the 7th, that's 7/11. So they obviously can foresee this scenario, as we had lots of predictive programming on the BBC telling us that this was going to happen, that there would be a huge landslide in La Palma, and then we have the earthquake swarm on September 11th, and then we have the eruption. So let's talk about Shills on YouTube, like Jeff Taylor, and you can see the pro lobby for that country in the Middle East, and you can clearly see many of the Shills, like Jeff Taylor, Nigel Farage. I exposed Nigel Farage. He's a Freemason. He's working for the Red Shield, City of London. Brexit is a scam. These are scam artists from the City of London, and they represent the Red Shields. I showed this in my video, and the same scam artists are popping up again. You also have other Shills like Norman Fenton. But what it shows you is there's been the biggest disinformation campaign by YouTube and Twitter and other social media, and shows you they're all controlled by that country in the Middle East. In all likelihood created by that country in the Middle East and the CIA. And you've had this mass propaganda with events that in my opinion have no credibility. And so we're going towards this engineered conflict. As I say, all sides are controlled. And I just wanted to bring your attention to that UNESCO tsunami exercise, which is happening in November. Thank you.